answers. Now let's talk a little bit about what prompted the letter from Congressman James Comer, who you just heard from. White House lawyer Richard Sauber releasing this statement on Saturday. Here's part of it. Quote, while I was transferring it to the DOJ officials who accompanied me, 5 additional pages with classification markings were discovered among the material. For a total of 6 pages, the DOJ officials with me immediately took possession of them. Now, the latest disclosure was also in addition to the discovery of documents found in December, those in Biden's garage, remember, near the Corvette, and then the batch in November at his former offices at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C., his think tank. Now, Biden's Democratic allies also criticizing his handling of these sensitive documents and also the White House's response to all of this. Take a listen right now, a conversation between NBC's Chuck Dodd and Senator Debbie Stabenow.
He said what Donald Trump did was careless. Does he have to eat those words considering what happened with him?
Well, it's certainly embarrassing. From my perspective, you know, it's one of those moments that obviously they wish hadn't happened.
Now, some Democrats also say Biden should wait, let the controversy wane before announcing any plans he has for 2024 and that bid for the White House. Now, even Trump critic Adam Schiff admits Biden may have jeopardized national security by taking these documents.
I don't think we can exclude the possibility without knowing more of the facts. We have asked for an assessment in the intelligence community of the Mar-a-Lago documents. I think we ought to get that same assessment of the documents found in the think tank as well as the home of President Biden.
All right, let's welcome in now Harvard Law School Professor Emeritus and Newsmax analyst Alan Dershowitz. Professor Dershowitz, always great to see you.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about this issue of his legal team and the special counsel. This was raised. They don't have security clearances. And you know, a lot of people are making a big deal about how many documents were found. Does that really matter here? And what about the request for these visitor logs? Is that warranted in this case?
Well, first of all, Richard Sauber is a neighbor of mine on Martha's Vineyard. I've known him for years. He's an extremely able, ethical, and excellent lawyer. He would not do anything that violated the law. In fact, he said that as soon as he saw the word classified on any of the material, he stopped looking at them because he doesn't have security clearance. Probably he should get security clearance. That would be a good thing. Look, this is the perfect example of what we have been experiencing now for years, tit-for-tat politics. Everything that the Democrats did to Trump, the Republicans are now doing to Biden. In the end, this will all cancel each other out. There will be no prosecutions. There will be some investigation. Perhaps there'll be some changes in the law. I have to tell you, I believe, I have no facts to back this up, but I believe that if you went into the homes and garages and offices of every past president who's still alive today, you'd probably find some classified material.
I don't disagree with you there. I do take exception with one thing you said, though, Professor Dershowitz, that Republicans are doing to Democrats what Democrats did to them. I mean, really, this is Joe Biden who possessed these documents, and wouldn't you agree on, you know, on a per se basis that a crime has been committed? He shouldn't be possessing them, and there's no kind of window for him to declassify these documents. And how severe it is, I think that depends on what's actually in the documents. And what type of punishment, you know, happens here is obviously different because of the position of power. But if this were a military intelligence analyst or someone who did something similar, they would be kicked out of the military. They may even go to jail for something similar to this.
We should go back and look at all the people who've lost their classification, lost their jobs, and been sentenced to prison for these kinds of violations. The violation should require intent. These are people who have been sloppy and negligent. None of them have any malevolent intent, not Trump, not Biden, not any of the people who have lost their jobs. Sandy Berger put it in his sock in order to help him write his memoir. You know, these are things, the reason I say tit for tat, and Republicans do the same thing, is because if the Democrats hadn't gone after Donald Trump this way, the way they did, I don't think this story would be as story. It's a big story because of what the Democrats, and also for what Joe Biden himself said.
And it demands that kind of in-kind response, right? And when you don't have the FBI raiding the Biden family residences, you wonder, is there really, you know, equal justice under the law here?
But the answer is they never should have raided Mar-a-Lago. The answer
Right.
is not to Biden. The answer is not to have done what they did to Trump. I have a new book coming out called Get Trump, about how efforts to try to prevent him from running, and I want to vote against him, as I did twice. I'm a liberal Democrat, but I don't want to see him stopped from running on unconstitutional grounds. And what we're seeing by Democrats is efforts to try to circumvent the Constitution because they think Trump is different and his election is different, and you can do anything you want to avoid it. And so I think that a lot of the blame for this goes on to the Get Trump people who don't care about the Constitution.
Fair point.
Professor Dershowitz, before we let you go, though, we do want to get your reaction to one side note here unfolding. Obviously, there's also eyes on Hunter Biden as well, and possibly him being in the house where classified documents were. There's a background screening from 2018, which actually showed that he claimed he owned the house, and he also said he was paying about $50,000 in rent to his father. Your reaction to this document and possibly having Hunter in that same area, and the exorbitant amount of money for rent here, probably not comparable with other rentals in that area.
Well, it really does warrant a thorough investigation, but the investigation can't be one-sided like the January 6th committee. Both sides have to be presented. We have to maintain in our minds a presumption of innocence. Let's see where the evidence comes down. Nobody is above the law, but nobody is below the law. One single standard of justice. The shoe has to fit on the other foot. And unless that happens, the rule of law gets compromised. And we just don't want to see that. And so, yes, there should be a thorough investigation of Hunter Biden and his proximity to classified material. When relatives live in the White House, they have obviously proximity to classified material. So let's be practical about this. People live in homes, they live in relatives' homes. That's why there should be processes. The presidents shouldn't, and the vice president shouldn't be the one to determine what they take with them.
That's true. That's true. Again, there's a difference, though, between the White House, where you have a lot of staffers and a lot of credentialed security professionals walking around, and apparently this situation. But as you indicated, Professor Dershowitz, a lot to come out in these investigations, and we'll wait and see what comes of it. We got to wrap it up there. Great to see you, sir. Thank you for your time.